transparency is rotting away in America. So we headed to Washington, D.C., where we watched Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Ro Khanna amplify the voices of survivors of Jeffrey Epstein. We've been promised the files. We've been told the files are just a Democrat hoax. We need the truth. And more importantly, the survivors deserve justice once and for all. Here is an interview with Representative Thomas Massie. It is November 19th, 2025. We're about half a year from Bindergate. And it's been a long 6 months of gaslighting, lies. I don't know what to believe anymore, but I'm sitting here today with Congressman Thomas Massie, and I'm hoping that he has some answers. Massie was right about everything, but people are still very concerned. So can you please just catch us up where we are right now?
Sure. This yesterday was a great day. We started it off with a press conference with the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring. And then we proceeded to debate my Epstein resolution on the floor. It's actually a bill. And then it passed 427-7. The Speaker of the House threw a little hissy fit, and he said he would vote for it, and everybody could vote for it, but it would get changed in the Senate.
Right.
And then before the bill got to the Senate voted to pass it. Like, I've never seen the Senate vote to pass a bill they don't have yet.
That's sketchy, no?
Well, it was so radioactive politically. They watched the Speaker muck it up for 5 months. Mm-hmm. He kept shooting himself in the foot by opposing the release of the Epstein files. And so the Senate said, no, you know what? You guys passed this 427-1. We think we can pass this 100-0 without amending it. So they did it by unanimous consent. So the bill showed up this morning and went straight to the White House.
And nothing was changed?
Nothing. They didn't change the punctuation.
Are you surprised?
I'm encouraged. I'm just surprised that the whole thing worked, that we won.
You're very optimistic and hopeful, which is what we need in this day and age. Yeah.
Yes.
Wear the hat if you want. At least have it in the shot.
At least for a day.
Okay, no. We need people like you, but here's the problem. The American people are still very skeptical that when we get these files, if we get them, because now Bondi just said it's going to be 30 days, that it's just going to be white paper with a ton of marker.
No, we have very tight constraints on what they can redact.
Are you sure? Because I know there's a lot of buzz online where people are really focused on the wording in the original. Mm-hmm. Can you give people some peace about this word?
Sure. I mean, the files are mostly not classified. Mm-hmm. I mean, these are crimes. They're not like top secret or anything like that. There could be some areas where they want to withhold it for classification reasons. But the problem is that stuff has to be narrowly tailored, and they have to tell us what they're classifying. They have to tell us why they did it. And so the bill prescribes some very clear guidelines on what they can and can't do there.
So there can't be any funny business then?
There can be a little bit of funny business, but there can't be a lot of funny business.
Define a little. What could they do? Could they cross out famous billionaires off the list?
Well, so there are like 1,000 victims of Epstein sex trafficking, and there are dozens of men who should be probably criminally indicted from it. The small bits of monkey business that the administration has indicated they might engage in consist of declaring certain investigations on certain targets, like let's say a bank. They want to protect the bank that they know might go down if all of this is known, so they start an investigation on that bank.
Take your money out now. Do you have any ideas of what bank it could be?
They already did notice the
bank. Is it Bank of America?
No,
I just want to know.
I don't know if it's your bank or not. But they could then protect anybody that, let's say, if there were men associated with that bank who participated in this sex trafficking, they could be protected. But here's what I've said. They don't have the resources at the DOJ to open up enough investigations to cover up everything. And even if they do open up an investigation, our bill says that it has to be, if there's an exclusion for an ongoing investigation, has to be narrowly tailored and temporary in nature. And so they can't do it forever, and they can't say, well, we're investigating this, so everything has to be redacted. And they also have to say that it's going to compromise the investigation.
Wow, so it sounds like you are hopeful that we're getting some names.
I'm very hopeful.
Because the internet is like, there's no way we're getting names. Because think about it, these people have been getting away with these crimes and this sick behavior for years. What makes you think now is finally the time where there will be justice?
Because the entire American public is behind this.
Right.
And they've lost politically so hard. Like Trump did a 180 and told people to vote for my bill, ultimately. And I think they risk the danger of dragging this out. And so I don't think they will do that. But we have one backstop. Don't forget, we can
Clay Higgins?
No, we can go to the floor of the House and read names. I'm not in possession
yes,
of
let's
names.
talk about that, because you did touch on that in the gallery yesterday, that if that's why, because a lot of people online are saying, well, why can't these girls just name the names? And you already had a solution for that. There was a reason that,
Well, first of all, these are rich and powerful men.
Right.
There's no guarantee if they name a name that that the FBI will ever investigate them. Mm-hmm. And then in the meantime, whoever they've named, maybe a billionaire, they can start a defamation suit, sue them into oblivion for defamation.
Right.
And here's another reason. If we believe the FBI has 100 names and we know what 20 of them are, what 20 of those names are,
they're only going to give 20?
They're only going to give the 20 we name, right?
Yeah.
So if you withhold those names and say, we know of 20, and they say, okay, we'll give you 20. The odds they're going to give us the same 20 are very low.
So that's why you're holding out, because you want to make sure that all of them are exposed, not just this limited amount. Because think about all the survivors out there that maybe they haven't told their story. There's probably names you don't even know about yet.
Yeah, and then some of the survivors don't even remember. They've asked FOIA, they've made FOIA requests for their own records, just to remember, because they've gone through so much trauma, just to know what actually happened to them. Some of them don't even remember.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, a lot of these girls were young, and what would you say to these influencers out there that are calling teenagers prostitutes and escorts? Because there is a big smear campaign happening where they are actively trying to discredit survivors by only focusing on the ones that maybe have a little bit of holes in their story. And there's no such thing as a perfect survivor. But I'm seeing a lot of smearing going on where they're trying to change the Overton window of what it means to be legal by being like, 15's okay. They were asking for it.
So I didn't realize how brave these women were until we had our first press conference and I met them. And one of them admitted to recruiting 14-year-old girls for Jeffrey Epstein. Think about why she did it. A girl in her high school said, come to this old guy's house, give him a massage, and you can make $200. And that's all it'll involve. So she goes to Jeffrey Epstein's house. It's not a massage. It turns into something sexual. She's ashamed of what happened. He has her phone number. He calls her up. He keeps demanding that she come back. And then he offers her an out. If she'll just go recruit another 14-year-old, then she doesn't have to come and be sexually abused or exploited. And she said, and she cried when she said that. She said, I'm ashamed to tell you this, but at 14 years old, I went and told another 14-year-old at school that she could make $200 by going.
Right.
And so that's
it's a terrible cycle.
Yeah, and that's how he recruited people. He had them so ashamed and so afraid of recurring abuse that he would get them to do something evil. Now, when these women come out and admit to that, people call them like sex traffickers themselves.
Right, they're more mad at the 14-year-olds than they are at the older men.
Right.
That's strange to me.
It's so evil.
This is a battle of good versus evil.
It's rot. It's evil to the core, yes. And so I can understand how if somebody just looked at this for 30 seconds and said, oh, well, she was getting girls for Jeffrey Epstein, so she's taking part in sex trafficking. But if you look at it deeper, no, he had her under, he was coercing her. She's 14, she was under duress, and she does this, and that was part of his whole scam. And it's despicable. So he was getting 14-year-olds to do evil things. Now, when you live with that shame, are you going to go to the police? Are you going to go to your mom and dad once you've already roped another girl into this? No, you live with that shame for years before you gain enough maturity and recover enough from the damage of that you have enough normalcy that you're like, that was messed up, you know?
Yeah, these girls are traumatized.
Yeah.
They're scared. Like, who would go to the police? Like, people don't even want to admit this to their parents, and their parents may not even believe them.
Right.
But what I do want to focus on is the 180 that you mentioned. Why has Trump's stance on this, why is it flip-flopping all the time? Because he's calling it a Democrat hoax. Mm-hmm. As a Republican, how do you feel about it being called a Democrat hoax? And what does he mean by hoax? Because it sounds like you're very familiar with the case.
I think that's a big insult to these women to call it a hoax. When he said that and they were at our press conference, they asked him to meet with them so that he could see it wasn't a hoax, so that he would personalize their stories instead of just thinking of this as a hoax. But he never has met with them. And I wish he would invite them to the bill signing. Like, he could be a hero if he would just step forward and say,
right.
I'm signing this bill for you. You're going to get justice. This is not a hoax. There's still time for him to do that.
So do you still have hope that maybe he could turn it around, or do you think that he's protecting certain people?
I think he's been protecting certain people, but I think he made a political calculation that the position he had taken, which was you're a traitor to him if you're a congressman.
Marjorie Trader Greene.
Yeah. If you're a Republican and you support this transparency, then you're a traitor. And so he was trying to intimidate enough congressmen so that this wouldn't pass. But then what happened, there was a sort of an avalanche. There were enough Republicans who said, no, I'm going to vote for the women. I'm going to vote for what my constituents want. And there was sort of, I'll call it a jailbreak going on. And ultimately, he may have been able to make, let's say, convince 100 members of the Republican Party. We have like 224 here maybe. He might have got 100 of them to walk the plank for him and jump into an ocean full of sharks, and then he's going to lose the majority. When I say that, if whoever has the most people, I keep pointing over there.
Like, where are we looking?
Well, we're looking out my window at the Capitol.
So the Capitol building's right over here. You have to take a
train underground.
That was pretty wild.
Yeah. So I want him to put a loop.
There's no funny business happening down in those.
I want there to be a loop in the train, but they haven't done that.
Oh, like a
loop the loop.
Oh, wow. You guys got to experience this.
But just to finish that thought, I think that he did a calculation that if these guys walk the plank, they might not win their re-election. And enough of them lose to Democrats, Democrats are going to have the majority. And what's the first thing the Democrats are going to do? Impeach him.
Well, he's trying to say that they're using this as a way to impeach Trump. There's a lot of MAGA influencers are saying that the Democrats never cared about the list, and they're only using it to impeach Trump because they're trying to say that Trump is on the list. Do you think Trump is implicated in these files?
I don't think he's criminally implicated, and I think he's beyond embarrassment. We had...
You don't think he was crashing out when he tweeted about you?
I think somebody came into his office probably and said, Mr. President, put down the phone. This is, you need to stop.
It was only one post, right?
Well, it was against me. No, one day he tweeted 3 times against me and 3 times against Canada. He said he was going to make them a state. So I tweeted back.
Did Canada say okay?
Well, I said, the president's gone after Canada and me all day today. The difference is Canada might cave. I'm not going to cave.
So everyone wants to know, why are you so willing to step up, be brave, and go against Trump? Because it seems like a lot of other people are afraid of him.
I think they want the job too bad, and they're afraid of losing the job.
Because you play the banjo. You could just go be in
Yeah,
a
right.
band. You don't
There's
have
a
to.
lot of
You
money
could,
in
right?
banjo playing.
Yeah,
right.
you could just go live in the van again.
Yes,
You know,
I did live
you've
in
got
a
your new
camper
wife.
here.
Guys can go like
Well, we could.
be nomad life.
We do have a farm, and
Yeah.
we raise our own food, and we actually.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer than this city, like being on a farm in Kentucky.
Right.
And I've even told the president that. You know, he threatened me back in 2020.
He did?
5 years ago.
About what?
It was a vote on Iran. He had killed an Iranian general, and they were talking about war with Iran. And so we had a vote on whether he could go to war without a vote of Congress. And I was one of 3 Republicans that said you can't go to war without Congress voting on it. Mm-hmm. But he heard I was about to vote for it, so he called me up. And
let's hear it.
He said, you know, I'm more libertarian than you are. And he said, I don't want any wars, but you can't take this power away. Like, his argument to me was that if he had the threat of war in his hand, that he could keep us from going to war. And I said, well, that works great, but if they call your bluff, then we're in war, and
Yeah.
Congress hasn't voted on it. And he said, well, you're going to get a primary if you vote for this. And even I can't help you if that happens.
You know, I could help you to get an impersonation agent. Because you could also do that if you ever decide to leave. He could be doing impersonations. This guy can do a lot of different people.
I don't know.
You do a good Mitch McConnell?
Some people ask me, what's it like to be the Senate Majority Leader? I tell them, it's a little bit like being the groundskeeper at a cemetery. Everybody's under you, but nobody's listening. Thank you. I got another one.
Let's keep going.
I feel him. When he speaks at the end of a long series of speakers, he'll say, I feel a little bit like Elizabeth Taylor's 5th husband. I know what to do. I just don't know how to make it interesting.
Mark Epstein, did you hear the call he made? He's been going on a media run, and he's saying that he has a source that someone is already taking off Republican names in Virginia. So he's going on news outlets like right now, and he said that this list is going to be totally redacted. Just black marker through all of it.
Well, there's 2 different things.
Do you know anything about Mark Epstein?
Not
and
really.
Can we trust him?
I don't know him, but here's the thing. There's a chain of custody for all the evidence at the FBI. And if they do delete something, try to get it out of the record, that's different than redacting. But if they try to delete files, we should be able to tell that they've deleted files.
But do we trust 3-letter agencies in 2025?
No, we don't. But not at all.
Right.
But we have the survivors who already know, like they've given interviews to the FBI. And if the FBI doesn't produce 302 files, which are the notes they take after they interview a witness or a victim, if they don't produce those, then we know they're withholding those. And so we've got a way to check whether they release these things.
And who is the one releasing the emails? Because I saw there is a criticism that's coming from the Republicans that the reason these emails keep mentioning Trump and Bubba is because they're trying to embarrass him. Is there a reason that the emails that have been released have been primarily focused on Trump but doesn't implicate anyone else? Who's releasing these emails?
So
Bubba.
The House Oversight Committee, which I used to serve on, subpoenaed the estate to get everything the estate had. This is my legislation asks the DOJ, actually requires them under threat of law to release the Epstein files. But what the Oversight Committee did was issue a subpoena, and they issued it to the estate. And so the estate was in possession of these emails, and that's what's come out. And there's probably a lot more stuff that's in there that can come out. But that's, and I applaud them for getting that stuff. But again, I don't think you're going to find Donald Trump criminally implicated in there. I think some of his big donors and some of his friends will be.
What about the Clintons?
I think the Clintons will be in there.
What about Obama?
I don't know, but here's the thing, these billionaires.
Hopefully he was just playing basketball.
I think what happened is people said, well, why are the Democrats for this now and they didn't used to be for it? Well, it's because Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton were sort of like on a pedestal in the Democratic Party. And now, you know, the bloom's fallen off the rose, so to speak. It's fallen off the rose, and people don't, even the Democrats here in Congress don't care about the Clintons anymore.
So on the record, you really are saying you believe the Clintons are going to be criminally implicated more than Trump will be in the Epstein files?
I think so, yeah.
And this is based on knowledge you've received? It's just a guess.
It's just a guess.
So this isn't going off of survivor stories?
No, not at all.
Okay, so this is just your intuition.
It's based, I mean, I think they were right in there with them.
Yesterday, Annie Farmer, she said that there's been 5 administrations covering this up. So the American people want to know, why now, Thomas? Why are you suddenly going to release it all?
Well, 5 administrations have covered it up, and I think one of the things that's going to be implicated is our whole justice system. And the fact that it's broken and it's rotten and it's not worked.
Right.
So you have people, career people, not the political appointees that Obama made or Biden made or Trump made at the top, but I'm talking about career people who don't want you to know that the institution is rotten. And so that's why it's been covered up for so long.
Is it social media where everything's so transparent now that it's all coming out? Is it?
I think so. Like,
what is it? Is it because Trump talked about this in his campaign? Like, what got you involved with this? What made this your crusade?
Before social media, there might be a story in the Atlantic or the New Yorker or whatever, and most people don't subscribe to those. And if you missed that episode, you know, it's gone. But when things come out there on the internet, they're there forever.
Right,
and
like Bubba.
Yeah, if you missed that newscast, you can watch it at any time, and people take clips, and it goes viral. And so there's been a lot more awareness of it now in this social media age, I think. And it's also, I think social media helped the survivors get together. Like, they didn't know who each other were. Right.
So they kind of formed a support group online
Yeah.
by meeting each other, and their voices amplified each other's.
Yeah, and then a lot of them have the same lawyers, and so they were able to sort of gather together and compare notes, and they said this in the press conference, there's strength in numbers, and so then that amplified their voice when they got together, and we have a slim majority here in the House. Like, the procedure that I used probably wouldn't have worked, let's say, if we had a majority of 20 Republicans, because I was only able to get 4, including myself, to sign the discharge petition that forced the vote. So there were it was a confluence of a lot of things that made this possible, and then I was just very motivated to do it based on the survivor stories, but also because Pam Bondi.
This is what started it for you, right?
This is what started.
This Bindergate is what set it off for my interest too, because I was like, why would you print out these binders at Office Depot? And I will say, your binder.
Yeah, mine is phase 2.
This actually looks better than the real binder. The font, you did the serif font. They had all sans serif. It looked really cheap, their binders. And then there was why would you do this? And then there wouldn't be anything in them. And why do they have these influencers waving them around? And now some of those same influencers are saying, do not release the files, you guys. It's going to ruin our government. So it's like, are they compromised? Why are the same influencers that were holding up the binder now saying, guys, this is crazy. Like, they're even coming after you.
Oh, they're
talking shit about you.
Yeah, they're talking.
You're catching strays.
But that's okay. I mean, that's the other thing is.
Whose idea was this? Did Pam think it was a good idea and then someone stopped her? Like, this was terrible. The worst PR that the White House has ever done.
If she had followed through with a phase 2 and a phase 3, it might have been okay.
But she didn't. She started gaslighting.
Right. And so did the FBI director in hearings with me. The more I dug in, the more suspicious I became, the more vocal Trump became in opposing it. And so, you know, when you start pulling at something and then you feel resistance, they're like, whoa, there's something here.
So that's why you're like, I'm going to go investigate over here.
Yeah, and pursue it with all my effort.
Why does Kash Patel look like a hostage?
I don't know.
Have you seen his before and after? It's like he's in before office, and I was like...
I think it's exhausting over there.
And people are calling you a clone.
I'm a better version of what I was, so it wouldn't be exactly a clone.
It's because
I'm
you're
version 2.
You're on the right side of history.
Yes.
So you...
Being comfortable in your mind with believing what you say is good for your health.
Do you think that MAGA is torn apart? Marjorie Taylor Greene said it yesterday. The party, it's people are fighting all the time. This whole thing has really been... There's a lot of different sides forming, and do you still feel aligned with the Republican Party as it is right now?
You know, I vote with the Republican Party 91% of the time. That makes me a heretic in the Republican Party, because right now the president demands 100% compliance. On any given day, if you're not in 100% agreement, you're a traitor to him. Like with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That's like a cult.
And Marjorie is for all the same things she's always been for, right?
Right.
Less war overseas, balancing the budget, getting to the bottom of the Epstein files. These are things we campaigned on. And so when the president strays from the MAGA, mission, then...
Why is he straying?
Then Marjorie and I are trying to pull him back. Why
is he compromised?
I don't have any knowledge that he's compromised.
You don't think there's any stooges pulling the strings, a puppeteer?
I think what happens is you get insulated. I think he was more in touch with what Americans wanted when he was going to rallies every week, when he was running for president. And if he said something and they didn't like it, they would boo him, right?
So then he got the immediate feedback.
I've heard him talk about the feedback he got. And if he says something and that, like, pro-Second Amendment, he would get a lot of applause. If he said things about the Epstein files, he would get a lot of applause. So he had this, he was in sync.
So he needs a live audience, because he must not be reading the comments.
And but at some point, you can't just say, oh, he's got bad advisors. Ultimately, the person at the top is responsible for everything, including the advisors.
So you do believe Trump's running the show?
Yeah.
You don't believe foreign governments are running the show?
I think he's running his own Twitter. That's on the brunt of it, yeah.
Yeah, he called your beautiful wife, Carolyn, a question mark.
Yes.
I think she should be that for Halloween.
A question mark?
Yeah, like you guys could play on that. Lean into the tweet.
Well, she blamed, my wife, Carolyn, or maybe now referred to as question mark.
Question mark.
Told me to invite Trump to our wedding, and I didn't.
Why not?
Because I thought, well...
Maybe we would have had the files released.
I thought...
It's all your fault.
I thought there's no way the president's going to come to our wedding, so it would look like a...
No, it's just a fake invite. You know he's not going to come.
Yeah, but anyways, I didn't do it, and she said it's my fault. He was tweeting at us about our wedding because I didn't invite him.
Yeah, you should listen to her.
If I had it to do over again, I would definitely have invited him.
There's even conspiracies about you and Carolyn. People are asking me if she's your handler. I said, aren't all wives handlers?
She's my liberty handler.
I also said if Carolyn was a handler, there was no way I would be sitting here with Thomas right now. It's not someone, Green Girl. She would never be allowed in these quarters. Oh, you have some nicknames.
Oh, yeah.
She's not the only one. You've got a few nicknames.
Well, my favorite hashtag is Sassy with Massie. So, but I have been called some not great names like Masshole, Hamasi, because I haven't voted for foreign aid to Israel and I don't endorse their war. I stand with America. Like, I've got an American flag and a Kentucky flag.
Do you believe Netanyahu's involvement with Trump is influencing the decision of the Epstein file release?
I think Israel is influencing the Epstein file release because Israeli intelligence and our own CIA was wrapped up with Epstein. And so it would be embarrassing to our own intelligence agencies as well as Israel's intelligence agencies for all that to come out. And if you notice, there are a lot of bots online and people who are paid. Maybe they're not robots, but they are paid, and they're going after Marjorie and I. Mm-hmm. uniquely, and I think it's because we are against the war that Israel has in Gaza right now, and we want that to end, and we don't vote for foreign aid, and we don't vote for military aid for these other countries that are at war, and we get in trouble for that.
Do you think Epstein's still alive?
No.
And do you think he was a Mossad agent?
Let's talk about agent. I think he helped Mossad.
Was he collecting blackmail on our politicians, and that's why no one wants these released?
You know, I don't know if it was blackmail, but let's say you were a drug user and you bought drugs from a drug dealer. The drug dealer doesn't blackmail you. The drug dealer has what you want, and then you start doing things for the drug dealer. I think Epstein was a sex trafficker, and so
he supplied the women.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he was blackmailing his clients, but he was definitely getting favors from them by finding them women and offering women to them. So I'm not sure. And then obviously once you've done enough of that, there is a lot of blackmail material.
You don't think there's like hidden tapes anywhere buried in the ground in a bunker somewhere?
Yeah, I think there probably are tapes like that.
And are they getting erased by the people?
I don't know. I don't know that the. Well, Pam Bondi said there were a lot of tapes.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of misinformation and conflicting information out there. So how do you expect the American people to believe any of it?
I believe about 1% of it myself. I literally don't trust anybody up here except Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace most recently, because those were the three women that co-sponsored.
What about Ro Khanna?
I'm talking about on the Republican side.
Okay.
I do trust some Democrats like Ro Khanna.
People are saying that you're acting like a Dem, a dirty Dem. You're a dirty Dem, Thomas.
Well, this was, what's interesting about Epstein is the president said it was a hoax, but now he's going to investigate the hoax, right? When he announced all these investigations. Yeah. And then he also encouraged everybody to vote for it. So at first,
why is he so mad at reporters, too, that are asking about the files?
Fake news. You're fake news.
Is it fake news?
No, it's not fake news.
I think you and Trump should do an interview. Do you think he'll...
I've talked to him on the phone.
When's the last time Trump called you?
It was in November after the election. We haven't talked since he was sworn in.
Okay. So you think he's mad at you?
I think he could get over it.
He seems to be.
I'm not mad at him.
He forgives people.
I mean, he's leading an effort where he's got 3 billionaires spending millions of dollars trying to beat me in an election. I'm still not mad at him.
Because you're okay with losing your job.
I'm okay with losing my job, but I also think I'm going to win. And I also think the reason I'm getting attacked is they're trying to keep the other members of Congress in line.
Has any other members kind of whispered you be like, hey, I actually love what you're
doing? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Some members will tell me that I'm their kid's favorite member of Congress.
Really?
And I'm like, wait, it's not you? You're the dad or the mom?
Yeah. Our friend said last night that you're like the dad in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids because of this.
I don't know how to take that.
Because you have all these
gadgets.
Yeah. So, but I think what people really want to know is about your cowboy boots. You had a lot of questions. People were
these are made.
Where does he get his
These
boots?
are made in America. I don't want to say the brand. You can put it on the screen and get some money for it.
I should link it. Yeah. I'll link my shop by.
But I wear them on my farm and in Congress, so they look
They look like you actually wear your boots.
I do. And I usually, once you get them broke in, they're so great. So when the soles wear out, I get them resoled, and I usually get like three sets of soles on one pair of boots before I wear the top of the boots out.
So how many boots do you have? Do you rotate?
You probably have about 3 different pair that I can wear right now.
That's humble. You're not. I didn't know if you were like a Kardashian.
No.
We had a huge closet.
No, and I've worn out. Oh, and if you want to wear boots, and by the way, I'm not wearing them to be taller. Okay, they're just comfortable here.
Well, you live in Kentucky. I thought that's why you wore them. Represents where you're coming from.
Well, I had the Speaker of the House, John Boehner. Most people have already forgotten him. He stopped me on the floor of the House one day for wearing boots. And he's like, Massie, why are you wearing boots? And he was a big stickler for the dress code. And he would get in the chair in the House of Representatives and lecture everybody for 30 minutes on flyout day if we tried to dress down on Friday. And people would miss their planes, and so...
You should be more worried about the files.
I think so. Well, or the budget.
Back then, wars.
We were only like $18 trillion in debt back then. Now it's doubled.
What are we at?
38 trillion. But so he was going to give me a hard time for wearing boots, and I said, Mr. Speaker, there are like half a dozen people who wear boots, and I named them. He's like, they're from out west. You're from Kentucky. You're not a Westerner. Why are you wearing cowboy boots? And I said, Mr. Speaker, I think I'm the only cowboy here who has cows.
Right.
Like, they were wearing them for a fashion statement.
Yeah, I wear them
for
a fashion statement.
Yeah, I'm on a farm. But you should buy your boots half a size too big and put those squishy little insoles in them, and they're so comfortable once you break them in.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Denise, wasn't there one last question that you said we had to ask him? It was like a funny one. No. I mean, we don't have to get into Peter Thiel. That's a whole Elon, all that.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's okay. Wait, why did Elon say that Trump was in the Epstein files?
I mean, you could say that about a lot of people, but they might not be criminally implicated. I think they were having a little spat at the time. Mm-hmm. They seemed to be over it.
So I guess the last question is, if he is protecting people, who do you believe he is protecting? I know you touched on it on the conference, but in case people didn't see that yesterday.
So I think he's protecting friends of his that are billionaires, and some of them donors to his campaign. But even before he got into politics, I think they were his friends. And then I also think he's protecting our intelligence agencies and those of Israel. So that's why he doesn't want this stuff to come out. And but by the way, that is no reason not to get justice for these survivors.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for all of your efforts. Hopefully in 30 days, you will have everything and the survivors will finally have justice. Thanks, guys.